Now, on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app, O'Connor and Company.
It's 5:07. It's December. My gosh, I could go on a little vacation, and the next thing you know, it's the last month of the year. Happy December 1st, everybody. O'Connor and Company is back on the air with our full complement of staff. Everyone's back from their breaks and from Thanksgiving, and you're back too, and that's good. And for those of you who didn't leave and stuck around, thank you to Andrew Langer for keeping the ships running on time or trains running on time. No, that was Mussolini who did that. Sorry. Well, he's not. He's a fascist, but he's not. He's our fascist. He's Andrew Langer, and we appreciate Andrew for doing a good job. And Hans von Spakovsky and all the folks who slipped in here. Julie Gunlock is right where she belongs. Good morning, Julie. Happy Thanksgiving.
Good morning.
Thanksgiving, I should say.
Yeah, so glad you're back.
Do you have the tryptophan thing still going on, coursing through your veins? And...
Yeah, I'm so sleepy.
You should be sleepy from making the feast that you made for your family. That's incredible. You had like a 10-course Michelin star Thanksgiving. Amazing.
Well, we can go into that later, but I need to tone it down a little bit. There's really no reason to make that much food.
Coming up at 7:05, Joe DeGenova will be our guest. At 8:05, former U.S. Capitol Chief Stephen Sund will give us his reflections on the integration of National Guard officers and the, National Guard troops with the police force here in Washington, D.C., and, of course, the tragic events that we're not going to forget, the murder of that brave West Virginia Guardswoman. And then at 8:35, Scott Jennings will be our guest. Hawking a new book there. He's one of our faves over there on CNN. Only reason to watch that network these days, other than to see what Anderson Cooper is wearing. Who are you wearing, Anderson? Well, we ended our very long journey. And I always say, back from vacation, thanks a lot for everybody. I'm so grateful that there's such a great team on this show and at this radio station to be able to allow me and Meredith to have some real, truly rest and relaxation and recharge. It's our R&R. We recharge on these trips. And
wow, it looked amazing.
You've seen me come back from these trips, and I'm just full of, spit and vinegar, as they like to say, and I'm ready to go, raring to go.
Yeah, and you constantly going, Jeeves, where's my coffee? Because you're...
Where's
your butler service? Where's your turn down service? Where's that little? When you go home, Meredith starts getting angry at you for expecting her to make animal shapes out of the towels.
I think we all know better.
Yeah. Anyway,
but it really is a blessing.
Your pictures were incredible. Tell us where you went.
We had a great time, and sadly, of course, we were still watching the events. I was heartbroken. To see the attack on the National Guardsmen here in Washington, D.C., knowing that this was our story, that this was in our town, that this was happening in our backyard, and the politics surrounding it. And I was dying to get back on there. It's one of those things where it's you want a break, you want vacation, but you also want your voice to be heard on stories like that. And we have plenty of time to talk about it. I will tell you, so where was I on vacation? That's a great question. We started in Rome. We've never done we like cruising, as you know. But we've never done a transatlantic cruise. And
you'd never done one, really?
Not transatlantic. I've done a trans-Pacific cruise when my children were younger.
Huh.
We loaded up all the kids because we homeschooled, so we could sort of take these repositioning cruises and take the kids wherever we wanted because we weren't taking them out of school. Right. So I crossed the Pacific a couple of times, but never the Atlantic. So we decided to give it a go. We started in Rome, and we were in Rome for a couple of days. Did not see the Pope, sadly. But we did do the Jubilee pilgrimage into the door at St. Peter's that's usually only opened during Jubilee year. That was very cool.
Very nice, very nice.
That was fun. And we saw the Vatican museums, which, of course, you spend, 8 hours at the Vatican museums. Like, great, we're about a tenth of the way done.
Did you go to the gift shop?
Oh, yeah.
I love a gift shop.
There's a good... Can I tell you the best pasta I've had in my life was at the cafeteria at the Vatican Museum? Like just the little visitors, and the service is not your typical cafeteria. It's like they act like they're you're in a 4-star restaurant.
Did you send pictures from the cafeteria? You did not.
I did not. I didn't take as many pictures and send as many pictures as I usually do. I sent you a few pictures as we went.
You did.
As we hopped on the ship.
You ate very fussy in Rome. It annoyed me.
Rome, yeah, we went over.
I gave you a recommendation. of a great restaurant in Rome that's like a real tradition where the locals go. And then you sent pictures from some like Michelin star restaurant that looked like, you could eat in New York City. I was like, go eat pasta.
No. That wasn't New York-y. It was very European.
Okay, good.
We even had a transgender waitress. It was great.
You guys should know.
Everything about
it. You guys should know. Larry is we are both foodies. Larry's a fussy foodie. I'm like, give me a hole-in-the-wall Chinese noodle place, and I'll be happy. We're just very different.
I like that too. Yeah. But this was
it's
it was
probably
a special...
also that you have the money for it.
We were in Rome. Oh, I didn't pay for any of it. Kidding me?
Really?
I got a contract with Qatar. They pick up everything. It's fantastic. By the way, speaking of that, we're going to change the tone of the show a little bit going forward. That freaking Netanyahu. I'm kidding. Joking. That was a joke. Oh, speaking of which, Christmas week, I'll be filling in for Mark Levin. Just,
Good. There you go.
That was a joke. Trust me, he wouldn't let me if I were
Actually,
in any way ambiguous.
Is he standing behind you? That's so weird. How did he get there so fast?
Oh, I live with him now.
Larry.
So we started in Rome and made our way to Fort Lauderdale, and we had many stops along the way. I really had like 5 or 6 stops. But I'll tell you, the reason that we booked this was there were 2 stops that we had never done before, and we really wanted to do them. And I have to tell you, they absolutely lived up to expectations. Gibraltar, which was amazing to actually, because that's one of those little tips of Europe that you have to deliberately go out of your way to go to, right?
Did you see a monkey?
No, so we avoided the monkeys.
Okay, because just so everyone knows, if you don't know, you're in Europe, you go to Gibraltar, there are apparently monkeys.
All over the rock. They're up on the rock. Yeah.
Yes.
We stayed down. We did not go. Okay. We looked at the rock. We took pictures of the rock.
Sure.
We did not go up onto the rock. Yeah. Mostly because we wanted to avoid the monkeys. And everyone's like,
how many people right now are listening going, there's actually a rock of Gibraltar?
Oh, yes, the rock of Gibraltar.
Rock.
The Gibraltar is a rock. It's a giant rock.
With monkeys, covered in monkeys. All right.
And then we had a dinner, like 2 nights later, we had a fancy dinner on the ship, Shock. And they sat us at a table with 2 people. We get to know them. And halfway through it, the guy reveals that he got attacked by a monkey on the rock.
They're vicious.
He rolls up his sleeve, and there's like bandages on his arm.
Good God.
A monkey attacked him and bit him. And I was like, oh, great. So Dustin Hoffman's going to be walking in here in the hazmat suit.
How often do you get to tell your own random monkey story? Yeah. I was attacked by a monkey in Indonesia. They're vicious. Okay, I was attacked by a monkey in Indonesia when I was on one of these congressional trips. It was terrifying.
Little creatures, yeah.
Well, they in tourist areas they get used to people feeding them, and then if you don't feed them, then they get really aggressive. Anyway, what's the second place?
The Azores. One of the islands of the Azores, Punta do something. It was beautiful.
Nice.
It was great.
Wow.
In fact, I ran I had registered for a Thanksgiving 10K turkey trot.
Don't even talk to me about this. So stupid. It was
through the Marine Corps.
You know what I did? I also did a virtual turkey trot.
And I realized I was going to be out of town, but I had already signed up for it, so I did the virtual version, and I ran it in the Azores. I ran.
Sure, you did.
Marine
Corps.
You did. I did. Oh, don't you? How dare you?
So did I. I actually ran mine in the Azores too.
All right, we got a little bit more on our Thanksgiving break and recapping our Thanksgiving weekend, and I see that you have an Ohio State banner hanging behind you.
Yes. Well, it was a big weekend, Larry.
Yeah,
it was a great weekend.
Once every 5 years, Ohio State beats Michigan, apparently, and I'm really proud of you.
Start of a new streak, Larry.
It's 5:15.
WMAL, making sense of the news. Live from the Home Paramount Pest Control Studios. Home Paramount, the leader in pest control since 1939.
So we stopped. We had the Gibraltar stop. We had 2 other stops in Spain, Malaga and Cartagena. Oh, we went to a horse ranch for Andalusian horse ranch. Andalusian
incredible.
horses. Oh, it was amazing. Just
wow.
Beautiful horses.
Was that one of the cruise things that they arranged?
One of the excursions, yeah. We signed up for
nice.
That one.
That's so nice.
It was a breeding farm for Andalusian horses, and they are just gorgeous creatures and incredibly gentle. Even the stallion. I mean, the stallions are still stallions. They're looking to get lucky with the brooding mares. Who isn't? Who among us? But still, they were. I mean, they were relatively calm, especially for Spaniards. We had spent a few days in Italy, so that's I think also the difference. Trust me, the stallions in Italy were not as calm. They like Meredith. What's with all the swarthy Southern European men loving on their blondes? My gosh, loving on my blonde.
Well, yeah,
outrageous.
Well,
they really lived up to type.
There's sort of there's not a lot of them down there, so you don't have a.
I know, but
blonde.
I'm sorry, but when you're a priest, you should keep your hands to yourself.
But your cabin, let me just say, you didn't put these online, but oh my gosh, you had this gorgeous balcony.
Well, that's the reason why I didn't put it online. Thanks, Julie. Yes, I'm living large. I got lucky. It was an upgrade.
Was it really?
It was.
How does everyone get up? I have no idea how this works. I feel like I'm missing out on the world.
We got this very cool cabin that had it was on the rear, the aft of the ship on the corner. So the balcony wrapped around. It was like a two sides to it. It was very cool, and we were very fortunate. We were very, and it was nice. We had a lot. We had as cruise ship cabins go, we had a lot of space to work with.
Good, that's so.
Which was good because we get on each other's nerves, and we need we need our personal space.
Yeah,
so I slept outside a lot. Yeah.
So I slept.
What else?
Did a lot of virtual turkey trots.
Yeah, lots of virtual turkey trots. That's what we call it now. Yeah. And then we had 8 days on the sea, which was, it was touch and go. It was like, is this going to be too much water, too much ocean?
You posted on Twitter a video, sort of a proof of life, right? Yeah. And you were pointing the camera out into the sea, and you're speeding along.
Yeah.
It looked terrifying.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'd feel good about that.
You don't notice it until you were, because I didn't even notice it either until we were sitting in that restaurant right at the window, and I looked out and said, "Look at how fast we're going." This is ridiculous.
That was crazy. But also, I am a klutz. I don't talk about this a lot. I fall down a lot. I am a mess, and I am terrified of falling overboard on a cruise.
Yeah. Well,
do you ever?
It's not really a danger. You have
Did anyone go over while you were there?
No, no one went over while I was there. You have to go out of your way to fall off the ship. I'll be honest with you, but I believe in you. I have faith.
Exactly. See, I can totally see me.
So what you're telling me is, Julie, like many women in Washington D.C., you've spent many years on your back.
Larry O'Connor.
Larry. Came out wrong. No, I didn't mean it that way. I meant that you're klutzy. You said yourself you fall over. You
really are in a mood today. It's going to be a long show,
I just want to make you miss Andrew
folks.
Langer. That's what I'm trying to do.
And I think Larry's going to be doing it by himself.
Sorry, I'm just getting back into the habit.
Getting back into the.
That's about it. And then we were stuck watching BBC, and that was it. So we got to see the world through European eyes, which is fascinating.
You were still online a little bit. You're following.
I was. Let me just say,
it's a hobby.
We knew that it was going to be a race for the Democrat nomination in 2028, and we knew that there was going to be a lot of competition. But you got to hand it to Mark Kelly. What a way to throw his hat into the ring, huh?
Can you believe this guy?
I have plenty to say about Mark Kelly and his atrocious behavior. He and his 5 compatriots there in their seditious video, and I've been tracking lots of opinions on it, and the fact that he had to, after the murder of the National Guardswoman, he had to try to change the subject here yesterday on Meet the Press was, he didn't do a good job, let's just say.
Well, he didn't. He dug in further, and it was also really convenient that his wife jumped on the gun control thing, calling the murder through terrorism just a matter of gun violence. What a sickening couple.
The problem in the National Guard in Washington, D.C., the murder was just gun violence again.
Yeah, gross.
Yeah, it's funny. His wife, Gabby Giffords, you remember. And then the lie kept perpetrating all weekend long. People were saying, when you criticize Mark Kelly, how dare you? His wife was shot in the head in a political act of violence. So they're still trying to blame Rush Limbaugh and Sarah Palin and Glenn Beck and Andrew Breitbart for a completely non-political shooting.
For her and her group. I mean, that's fundraising goal. Right. She's going to be able to say, look, I'm being attacked. Don't forget what happened to me,
When it had absolutely nothing to do with politics.
Yep.
And Mark Kelly and the Democrats and the media used it and exploited it for their own political gain. And, I'm sorry, that's why we have to blame Mark Kelly for the murder of that young woman from West Virginia who was just serving her country. He's got blood on his hands. Those are the rules he made with Gabby Giffords, and we will remind you of that and also let you know how he did on Meet the Press yesterday. It wasn't good. It was ugly, and he is absolutely undermining our military and our chain of command and the commander-in-chief. But as I said, that's how, if you're a Democrat, you get attention so you can be president. It's 5:23.
Coming up, we're going to hear Larry's thoughts on Mark Kelly, Senator Mark Kelly, who continues to dig in, suggesting that soldiers shouldn't follow illegal orders, but again, refuses to tell us what those are exactly. Keep it here. We'll discuss. 5:30.
WMAL FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. WMAL. News now. Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. O'Connor and Company.
5:37. Good morning. It's O'Connor and Company. Thanks for joining us here on this Monday after Thanksgiving. It's also the first day of December as we do the countdown now to Christmas and the New Year. Coming up at 7:05, Joe DeGenova will be our guest. At 8:05, we'll talk to former U.S. Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund, and at 8:35, Scott Jennings from CNN. He's got a new book, A Revolution of Common Sense. It's Larry O'Connor with Julie Gunlock. Speaking of common sense, Julie, it's always good to have you here to
Good morning. So glad you're back.
In line. Yeah, thank you. I'm glad to be back. All right, so Mark Kelly, Meet the Press, as we promised. Of course, the build-up to this was first this incredibly offensive, duplicitous, obnoxious, subversive ad that 6 Senate Democrats put out. Are they all from the Senate? Some of them from the House also, aren't they? Here's cut one. Were they all from the Senate? All right, cut one here. Take a listen.
Like us, you all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad,
but from right here at home. Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
Wait, now, hold on. You can or must? Now, I'm already confused. Here, they're trying to clarify things. Here, I must refuse illegal orders, or I can refuse illegal orders? And also, which orders are illegal and which ones aren't, and how are we supposed to determine that? And gosh, it's so hard. And I'm sorry, wasn't Elise Slotkin in there? Did she serve in the active duty military?
No, she didn't, but she was CIA.
Oh, well, that's not under the judicial code of the military, is it? No, it certainly isn't. So why would, and a CIA operative that? Well, here's Elise Slotkin explaining this as she was asked on this week, last Sunday, about this, and said, how exactly is somebody in the military, over 1 million people, how are they supposed to determine which order is legal and which order is illegal? Aren't you subverting the chain of command? Here was her very clear answer.
Look, if you're going back to Nuremberg, right, they told me to do it, that's why I murdered people, is not an excuse. If you look at popular culture, there's you watch, A Few Good Men, we have plenty of examples since World War II.
So there you go. Her two examples were the Nazi guards at the death camps during the Holocaust and Aaron Sorkin's Fever Dream, A Few Good Men, which was a fine movie, but...
You can't handle the truth. She's been rolling that around in her head for way too long.
So here comes Mark Kelly now. So in the wake of this, of course, a lunatic, radical, unvetted Afghan terrorist decided to drive cross-country and shoot 2 National Guardsmen in D.C. in cold blood.
Yep.
Murdering one of them. And so now Mark Kelly, who was one of these 6, decides that he needs to clean up on aisle 7. So here he does Meet the Press yesterday, and here's cut to Kristen Welker saying, so are you calling for people to disobey the president's orders? What exactly are you? Because this is so typical of Democrats. Here, this is the Democrats' playbook. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. That's it. That's the entire thing.
Exactly. So,
hey, just so you know, could be. So I think it was Ann Coulter who said, hey, next time Mark Kelly comes on the air, all of the hosts of the TV show should say, and speaking of having Mark Kelly, it's important for us now to remind everybody that it's really wrong, immoral, and illegal to abuse underage children, especially abused, disabled children. You shouldn't do that. That Mark Kelly being on the air here reminds us that we need to tell everybody that they should not be a pedophile.
Yeah, or how about don't murder people. Just reminding people, don't murder, don't run people over in the street. Like,
and so then Mark Kelly is appropriate to say, well, hold on, why are you connecting me to that? Are you saying that I'm a pedophile? Are you saying that I'm... No, I'm not saying that.
We just thought it was a nice time to...
We're just reminding everybody that it is immoral, wrong, and illegal to sexually abuse a child. And speaking of which, here's Mark Kelly.
Let me talk to you about some of what's happening right now. The Washington Post reporting that Secretary Hegseth gave an order to kill everybody on one of those suspected drug boats during the first strike in September. Are you calling for U.S. service members to actively disobey orders like those?
Well, if orders are illegal, not only do they not have to follow them, they are legally required not to follow them.
Do you think that constitutes an illegal order?
I think there needs to be an investigation. And I hope that the reporting is not accurate. I care so much about the United States Navy and those service members. This was an operation involving the most professional members of the military, U.S. Navy SEALs, who I revere. I hope and pray that this is not true. But there needs to be an investigation by the Inspector General. Pete Hegseth fired many of the inspectors general in DOD. But who's ever left needs to investigate it. We're going to investigate it. I sit on the Armed Services Committee. We're going to have an investigation. We're going to have a public hearing. We're going to put these folks under oath, and we're going to find out what happened. And then there needs to be accountability.
Wait. I'm so confused, Julie. Hold on. He's a senator? And he has the ability to ask questions and investigate things through their committees in the Senate?
Imagine that.
I thought the only option he had was to put out an ad.
Yeah.
A well-scripted, well-produced ad.
That at the end has a way to give to his campaign.
Oh, it was a fundraising.
Yes, you see.
Yeah, Mark Kelly's running for president, and this is how he's decided to transition his new career from officer in the U.S. Navy to astronaut to senator to now presidential candidate.
I think it's really important, though, to also lay out the fact that it's Mark Kelly who's sort of in front of this, okay? But Maggie Goodlander, who's another senator from Maine, or New Hampshire, I'm sorry, she's married to Jake Sullivan. This sort of deep state element. I know we're going to get into that.
Congresswoman from New Hampshire.
Oh, is she No, I thought she was a senator.
I think she's a congresswoman.
Okay.
All right. We will get into more of it. And another follow-up question, because, see, that was a perfect opportunity. Oh, Kristen Welker is proposing this bogus, ridiculous, typical, anonymous-sourced, leaked to Natasha Bertrand, of all people, story about the attack on these narco-terrorists. It's an example, Kristen Welker. Okay, so is this one of those things you're telling me is an illegal order? Is this an example of it? Well, I don't know. We need to investigate it. So you can't tell me, but you're asking members of the military in the chain of command when they're given an order to ignore those orders or to call up a lawyer while they're in the middle of combat to ask if this is the most despicable disgust.
It is. And
they're
makes
Democrats.
Each of these,
Hold that thought. Yeah, you're right. You're right. We've got more to say about it and a little fired up. But yes, despicable, disgusting Democrats. 545. Let's just be clear on what's going on here. So Mark Kelly jumps out there and says, hey, y'all, you have to disobey illegal orders. And when asked which illegal orders they were talking about, Elise Locken said, well, like Nazis and a few good men. So now we've got this story that suggests that the call for SEAL Team 6 to take out narco-terrorists coming up here from Nicaragua, that the president has full constitutional rights to execute these orders. That's not even in question. No, first they tried to question that. That was obviously false. And we'll have Joe DeGenova to talk about all the legal aspects here. So now they say, okay, well, sure, the president can call for this, but you can't have an illegal order. And then, boy, perfectly timed. Here's this anonymously sourced story given to Natasha Bertrand, of all people. She's the one who had the 51 intelligence officers who said that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation. Yeah, that's her. She has this story about an attack on a narco-terrorist where apparently claimed 2 people survived the hit, and so SEAL Team 6 circled back and made sure that they didn't survive the hit, which is kind of what happens when you're in war and you've got a combat operation. And now there's concerns from the anonymously sourced people that might have violated the military code. So here we go, a concrete example for Mark Kelly, who in his little armchair, Monday morning quarterbacking, can decide to look in the rearview mirror and decide, oh, yeah, you guys, you really shouldn't be doing that. So here's Kristen Welker doubling down now and saying, Senator Kelly, would you have followed that order if it was given to you? Great question, by the way. I want to give Kristen Welker credit for it. Here's the answer.
So would you refuse these specific orders to strike drug boats if you were still in uniform?
Well, the difference between the initial strike and what is being reported as a second strike, and those things are different. I think this administration has tied themselves in knots, the explanations that we have received on how this is all legal. And I was saying weeks ago, my concern is with the service members, that we're gonna put these individuals in a really, really tough decision, in a tough place. And they may find out, down the road that they did something that is illegal. It is not fair to them. That's why we need presidents and Secretary of Defense who understand the Constitution.
That's why you need to vote for me. Just say it, Mark. Just say it. That's why you need to vote for me. Just say it.
That's right. That's right.
That's what this is. He couldn't answer the question. It was a very specific question. If you were given this order, would you have followed the order? And he wouldn't do it because this is politics. This isn't the Constitution. This isn't the law. This isn't the Uniform Code of Military Justice. This is politics, and it's despicable, and it's disgusting.
It's also incredibly dangerous. And what makes me so sad is they are going to put that seed of doubt into some young military man's or woman's mind. And then they're going to abandon that kid that questions.
Well, forget about abandoning that kid. That kid's going to get killed.
Well,
or that kid's going to get
someone else killed. Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
Right.
But this is incredibly dangerous. It does plant those seeds of doubt in our military. It does. And I mean, and what is so awful too is they sit there and they go, you don't have to follow. Every military man and woman is explained to them. That is part of their training. That if an order comes down and it's an illegal order, they do not need to follow it. This is part of their training. For them to do this is to also suggest that they're not being instructed on
That's
that
right.
anymore.
It suggests that the military is not doing its due diligence to explain to about the chain of command and about what their responsibility is. It's the kind of thing that the CIA would do to undermine a foreign enemy.
Yes,
of this
exactly.
Country,
exactly.
Elise Slotkin. And so let's just be clear here. There's still a lot of evidence to be brought in about this murder and the shooting of the 2 National Guardsmen here in Washington, D.C., and I know we're learning more information and we're trying to get it all. But this is all Mark Kelly's fault. Mark Kelly has blood on his hands.
Yep.
He is responsible for the murder of that woman. And yes, of course, there may be evidence to show that that's not the case at all, that it had nothing to do with Mark Kelly. But see, here's the thing. I learned a lesson back in 2011 when Gabby Giffords, that would be Mark Kelly's wife, she was a congresswoman, she was shot in the head by a deranged lunatic, a guy who shot Gabby Giffords at a political event and also murdered a conservative Republican-appointed federal judge. But you see Keith Olbermann and Rachel Maddow and the New York Times and Mark Kelly and his party, they all blamed Rush Limbaugh, Glenn Beck, Sarah Palin, and Andrew Breitbart and the Tea Party movement for elevated political rhetoric. And they claimed that it led to the shooting of Gabby Giffords. Even though all of the evidence now that we knows it was a completely apolitical event. It was a deranged, mentally disturbed lunatic who shot Gabby Giffords. And it's a terrible thing.
But see,
but we're not allowed to see. No, sorry. There are rules. There are rules at play here.
That's right.
Mark Kelly undermined the President of the United States, undermined the National Guard. Elise Slotkin literally went on television 2 weeks ago before the shooting of the National Guardsmen. It said that she was afraid that one of these National Guardsmen was going to start shooting Americans in cold blood. So now that we've got a dead National Guardsman, it has to be Mark Kelly's fault. Blood is on his blood is on a. Those are the rules that they have set up.
Yep.
So I'm sorry, Mark. But the good news is you'll be able to raise money off of that.
That's right.
That's how things are with this party now. You know, you start demonizing Donald Trump, demonize Pete Hegseth, and the next thing you know, a member of the military is murdered, and that's money. That's big-time political fundraising for a Democrat. So, Mark Kelly, congratulations. You're a real credit to your uniform. It's 5:54.